Hey guys, Andre Harrison back at it again with another racing game edition of the Top 5, and on this one, we're going for the most commonly played racing game title of them all, the Kart Racer. The series that will destroy a family faster, even more so than a game of Monopoly at Christmas. Now, obviously, before we get started, it's more than fair to say that Mario Kart is the king name here. But I gotta be honest, there was many other games that I still feel matched, if not surpassed, what Nintendo have done with one of its staple franchises. So expect some surprises on this list. So, without further ado, here's my top 5 kart racers right here on RaceWorldTV. Number 5, ModNation Races. What happens when you combine Mario Kart and Little Big Planet? You get the underrated ModNation Races on the PlayStation 3. Sure, it looked like a conventional kart racer on first glance, but it had a near limitless level of customization, and then a massive community where you could share your designs with the world, download and play other people's designs. A really unique feature that I wish more racing games today had. Oh, and while it wasn't the best in terms of pure gameplay, the surprisingly charming story is actually pretty darn funny if you're into that sort of thing. Number 4, Sonic and Sega AllStars Racing Transformed. Name just rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it? Sonic and Sega AllStars Racing was the franchise the 360 and PS3 era needed, as Mario Kart was still the dominant series but stuck on the Wii. And while it may not have had the polish of Nintendo's series, we still got a really solid kart racer out of Sega on this one. It had a really great range of characters from Sega series old and new, from Sonic the Hedgehog to Super Monkey Ball, Jet Set Radio and even Shenmue. The tracks were bright and colourful, had a great set of missions, and like I said, it was one you could most likely actually buy given the relative obscurity of the Wii down the road. Both games in the series are very solid, but Transforms gets the nod here given the variety of karts, including being able to fly and float too. Number 3 is Blur, and I suspect it might be the first game I've mentioned on this list twice. And sure, it's not really a kart racer by sheer look alone, but given cars handled like arcade style, power-ups and fictional tracks, yeah, it's a kart racer. And as I've said, Blur is a gem of a racing game. Fast-paced gameplay, beautiful graphically, especially on the nighttime tracks, power-ups of an excellent level of depth, and as I said last time, the best online experience of any racing game of that generation. One that would give the Call of Duty series a run for its money. If you still own a 360 or PS3, absolutely find Blur and give it a go. It still has a solid multiplayer community, nearly 6 years on from its original release. Number 2 is Mario Kart DS. Okay, it wasn't going to be a Mario Kart-less list, but for me, the only one that really fits the list for me is DS, which I still believe to be the best game in the franchise. It was ridiculously fun and addicting, was a superb game given it was a launch title for the DS. It introduced the surprisingly difficult missions and was the first Mario Kart to have online multiplayer, an element it pulled off very well, especially for 2005. Mario Kart 64 I found a little overrated, Double Dash has aged well, and the original very nearly made the list, but for me, Mario Kart DS was the game changer for the Nintendo franchise. P.S. Don't worry if you own a Wii U, I still love MK8 too. And number 1, Diddy Kong Racing. In 1996, Nintendo released Mario Kart 64. A year later, in 97, Rare responded with Diddy Kong Racing, and it is a classic. Like I mentioned with Sonic, it was an expansion on the format, including karts, planes and hovercrafts. It was bright and colourful, and it had a very nice adventure mode, complete with an open world to race around to go up against bosses and other characters. This is one of the first examples of a truly fleshed out racing kart game, and it was one of the first I personally ever played as a young'un. So for me, top of the pile is Diddy Kong Racing. So how about you? Any Crash Team Racing fans out to get me? Any other kart races you loved as a child? Let me know in the comments, and until next time, I've been Andre Harrison, and thanks for watching.